Hi, welcome to the Q&A, episode 2, I guess. Enjoy. PBG Austin asks, what's the biggest personal struggle you've overcome and how did you manage it? It was self-love was the thing. And it's something I say a lot, but it was the biggest struggle because I think a lot of what drove me as a person, as a creator, was that I was angry and upset, and I was trying to prove myself in some way or another because I didn't feel that I was like deserving of anything, or that I was just trying to prove to the world or myself, I guess, that I was worthy of something. And it took discovering a form of self-love and self-respect that I was able to sort of enjoy it finally. That I was able to enjoy, being around a bunch of people who are awesome and making a living out of doing something really cool. That was the biggest personal struggle. And how did I manage it? Well, it was Hoffman. It was the Hoffman process that helped me a lot. And then just using those tools and taking time out, if not every day, then like at least every week to check in with myself and figure out what's going on with me and what's bothering me and all that stuff. Yeah. Self-love. It's tough. There. I think that is the best lighting configuration I can get in here. So I don't look like I'm telling a horror story. You know what? I'd really like to know more about what went into making Oh, this is Smash Tunes. You know what? I'd really like to know more about what went into making Girl Chain in Paradise, influences, making the theme song, and what episode 4 could have been. Always been one of your favorite projects. Thank you. I love Girl Chain. What went into it? It was very simple. Well, the first episode was just a Skype call I had with Tomomoto, and we were just making fun of an anime, like a very stereotypical anime. And it was almost the Skype call. I don't know if I recorded it or not, but the Skype call was almost like verbatim what the show ended up being, which was kind of fun to do. And then episode 2 was just sort of my obsession with why I didn't like Bleach at the time. So I put in like all the tropes of like what sort of Bleach and like shonen anime are, and then that became a thing. And then episode 3, I think, was just we watched a bunch of like anime intros, and we watched a couple animes, and then we just wrote down our ideas. And I think with episode 3, we were also writing ideas for like future stuff, because now it was like a thing, and we were like, okay, like where could Kenstar go? Where could Yusuke go? So, I mean, it's literally just like we're pacing back and forth, like writing on the computer, just a script, and it's just mayhem. I mean, that's how I wrote most of my shorts, was just a mayhem of dialogue, and then I'd cut stuff down, and there was no planning or anything like that. It just was as it came. And what episode 4 could have been, I don't know if people remember in episode 4 of Girl Chan, I had a character creation contest. So people had to draw fan art of a character hanging out with their OC as if they were in the universe, and and I got a lot of submissions, and I decided on 3 winners. One of them was Origimaru, which was like Ryu and Mickey Mouse and like Goku combined. One of them was Bisuke, which was a B version of Yusuke. And another one was like a beekeeper, which or no, was it a bee? No, it was just like a really strong dude, and he had like a lizard head that was like really long, like a really long neck and like a head. And I made him a beekeeper. So I put all 3 of those characters in the script for Girl Chan 4, and we recorded all the dialogue and stuff. We just didn't write it. And it was about all those characters and how Origimaru was like friends with them all along. Like he was like retconned into the story, and everyone loved him. And Bisuke becomes best friends with Yusuke, and the beekeeper like explodes or something. I don't remember. But I remember it made me laugh a lot. And if I ever made it, it would have been good. Sorry I didn't make it. Old Swifty asks, I'd love to know what kind of ventures you'd like to try in the future. I know you probably can't say what's just around the corner, but long-term goals or dreams of where you'd like to take yourself next would be super cool to hear about. I want to write more. Write a book, story, something, comic, I don't know. I'd like to write more. And music, I'd like to write music a little bit more. That's basically it. Right now I'm working on building a touring company. We're working on making a more formal announcement, but we represent ourselves when we were touring GameGrumps, and then we also toured Nate Wants to Battle, who's an incredible live act, and Jacksepticeye, who's also a really good live show. So gonna work on that in 2018 for sure. And I don't know, voiceover. Definitely voiceover is something that I'm trying to focus more on. Magiswords has been super fun. Just recently did another project that was awesome with a creator I love. And I'm gonna probably get an agent and start actually running that game, because all the voice roles I've been getting so far have been because I just know people. But now it's like, okay, I need to go and actually play the voice acting game. Amanda Skirty asks, I'm actually interested in how you schedule work time/break time, like if you have a timetable for a set amount of work per day with space to breathe and like not do that. I recently stopped checking emails on weekends, which felt huge. Well, how I schedule work time, you know, it's just on a... Nothing I do is very regimented, except for, like, recording the show, which is usually, like, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Other than that, it's really on a case-by-case basis. I try to be in the office, you know, at least by noon, and then stay till, you know, like 8 or when everyone leaves, just to be a presence. And also there's always something for me to do, whether it's emails or meetings or helping somebody with something or working on something. But yeah, nothing super schedule work time. Is just on a case-by-case basis. So I mentioned before, I have an assistant, and she helps me to figure out when things are going to be placed in. So every morning or the night before, I'll check my calendar on my Google Calendar or whatever, and then I'll see what I have for the next day. And then in the morning, I wake up at whatever time I need to, and then just start going to it. And usually I have like a couple things set up each day. Can be anything from like I gotta film something to like I gotta travel somewhere, or I gotta meet with somebody, or I have some shit I have to get done on the computer, or some graphics, or I don't know. So yeah, that's a set amount of work per day with space to breathe and like, dude, okay. Yeah, I try to 8 hours. Well, once 8 hours is done, I'm like, all right, I'm fucking done. I gotta go chill out and go home and see my wife and play Overwatch. But yeah, it's not super regimented. My life is sort of a fucking mess when it comes to scheduling stuff. But that's what it's like doing a million different projects. Like, you just kind of have to like take it as it comes. Anyway, thank you. I'd love to, Amber asks, I'd love to hear your experience with married life with the lovely Susie, yes. And if you guys got a ton of backlash from friends or family about marrying so young. We didn't really marry young. We were, what? It was like 4 years ago? I was 26. That's not super young. But experience with married life? It's awesome. I get to go home and hang out with like my best friend every day. It's the bomb. And it just keeps getting better, honestly. Like, I don't know, being around somebody that's cool and like sharing yourself with them is like one of the nicest things. Mine Nare, I'm hoping I pronounced that right. Minare asks, I'd like to know any early Flash artist inspirations you had before you started making your own, or how you discovered Flash and animation making in general. Okay. One of my biggest inspirations in making Flash was this guy named Possum. He made Counter-Strike cartoons, and I didn't play Counter-Strike at all. I just thought it was cool that he was making these funny cartoons. And I watched them over and over and over and over again. Like, I know them still to this day by heart. And honestly, I don't even know if I'd be able to find them. But man, they just made me laugh so hard. And I just thought it was so cool that it was like so clearly like, oh, they just made this on the internet, like on their computer. That's nuts. And then later I found out about this dude named, well, I found, I think it was, before it was Newgrounds, it was Assassin. And it was like Tom Folt made a bunch of cartoons that were like killing the Teletubbies and stuff, and I watched those, and that was pretty cool, and that was like so subversive and new, and angsty. And then Newgrounds came out, and a bunch of people were able to submit their own cartoons, and I ended up seeing Legendary Frog was huge, because that was the first time I'd really seen like a parody where it was sort of like clearly he liked what he was parodying, because it was the Resident Evil one was the first one I saw. So like he knew Resident Evil, and he played Resident Evil, and he was making fun of Resident Evil in the voice of the characters, which was like, was awesome to me. Like, I'd seen Spaceballs, and I was like, oh, wow. So, those are two huge ones, Possum and Legendary Frog. And it was actually Legendary Frog that helped me start doing voices for other cartoonists, because he asked me to do a voice for him, and then he recommended me to the Super Flash Brothers, who put me in the Decline of Video Gaming, which sort of suddenly was like, oh, now I can do voices online and on the internet. And but yeah, those are two huge ones. Thanks for that question. Hey man, thanks for watching. I hope you guys understand what's going on here with Dan having the flu. He'll be fine in a couple days, and we'll get back to recording. But in the meantime, there might be a couple more of these episodes, depending on what airs after this. But I hope you guys enjoy them. I hope they're insightful. I hope they're, whatever, helpful, fun. Ha.